Introduction. Born and raised in Florida, I always thought I would never leave. After working a number of dead-end jobs in the collections and customer service department, I'd finally had enough. Needing a change, I reached out to one of my cousins who held an executive job at one of the largest communications companies in the Dallas, Texas area. I didn't know his exact role at his company, but it had to be better than what I was doing. "Hello, Joe. This is Maurice. How are you doing? I was calling to inform you that I am currently working as a 611 operator at one of the largest communication companies in the state of Florida. However, I was wondering if your company was hiring." He told me he would check into what opportunities they were hiring for. I told him I was open to any job as long as he could assist in getting me out of working in customer service. My cousin was diplomatic. Despite hearing the fire and desperation in my voice, he encouraged me to continue working in my current job to gain a few more years of real-world experience. "The best thing you can do right now is stay where you are until you become really good at your current job. Give me a call after a few years while growing within your company. Then we can talk." Just to pay my bills, I continued working in customer service. Right when I couldn't take it anymore, a staffing agency called with an opening for a different kind of customer service job. I was already at the end of my rope with customer service. "This isn't your normal kind of customer service position," the staffing agent said. "How?" I asked with dread. The thought of taking phone calls again was unbearable. Let me read you the job description. The job title is customer service, but you will actually be taking phone calls from internal employees. My interest was piqued. That had to be a little better than taking calls from disgruntled customers. What are the internal employees calling about? Their calls could range from password resets, printer not working, laptop will not power on, etc. You might get calls from employees attempting to work from home or remote, but are unable to log into their computers, she answered, with hope in her voice. It's not exactly customer service, you see. Silence filled the line as I carefully thought it over. Taking phone calls about office equipment didn't seem too daunting. How bad could it be? So I decided to accept the position, and I began working there immediately. Originally, the temporary position was only supposed to last 4 months. After making an immediate impact while adding value, the position was extended for another 2 months. I was ecstatic. I finally felt like I was on my way to a career I started to enjoy. It truly wasn't like any other customer service job. It was so much more than answering the phone. Unfortunately, the position eventually ended. After 6 months, the staffing agency called me to tell me funding for my position would end in 2 weeks. Initially, I felt like I couldn't catch a break. When I reflected on the last 6 months, I had to look at the positives. First of all, I had gained some new skills. Secondly, I had met great people who mentored me. I had built a great relationship with one of my coworkers, Gary. About 2 months into my temporary engagement, Gary and I started working out at the company gym together. A few days before my last day on the job, I asked Gary, "How do I find another job like this? I don't even know what to call what I've been doing here." "What you've been doing here for the last 6 months isn't traditionally called customer service. You've been working as an IT help desk specialist." Despite the job title, Customer Service Level 2, I'd been working in IT. This is where I learned my first valuable lesson. Always fully read the job description. Most job titles are written in a way to scare away applicants. No matter how sophisticated or above your head the job title sounds, apply anyway. Most companies will train you how to perform the job at their specific office after you are hired. After revamping my resume, I landed a job as a tech support specialist for one of the largest banks in the United States. My responsibilities were to answer any trouble tickets that came in through the company email or trouble ticketing system. Although there was a slight change in the job title, I completed the same tasks as the job I had held for 6 months prior. Again, I want to stress the point to read the job description. Don't just look at the job title and get overwhelmed. Read the details of the job description. I continued to work in my new position for several months. But in October of 1998, my life drastically changed. My sister frantically called me. You need to come home right now. Is it Mom? I asked. All I could hear was my sister's breathing. Is it Mom? I asked again. The next voice on the phone that I heard was from my Aunt Sharon. Your mom didn't make it. Didn't make what? I asked. Your mother was rushed to the hospital. She was having difficulty breathing. My aunt paused, then went on to say, she died on the way to the hospital. My younger brother had just left Florida to attend college on a basketball scholarship in Missouri. I had to break the news to him. Distraught after losing my mother so suddenly, I didn't know what to do or where to turn personally or professionally. I still felt completely lost. In my grief, my life took another unexpected turn. My cousin Joe called to offer his condolences and to leave a message for me with my grandmother. The message was to give him a call if I was interested in working for his company. After the funeral, I had to drive 4 hours and 30 minutes back to Jacksonville, Florida from West Palm Beach, Florida. During this trip, it allowed me to do some serious thinking. Since the funeral, I remained in close contact with my cousin Joe, as he prepared me for moving to Texas. In December of 1998, I turned in my 2 weeks' notice and drove to Texas to accept my cousin's offer. My first job in Texas tripled my salary. I started out as a technical writer, then moved up as a software tester, IT business analyst, and eventually as an IT project manager. My takeaway from experiencing years of the many ups and downs was that I had to go through this process to be where I am today. I feel that the wisdom and knowledge I've gained led me to write this informative and life-changing book. Life-changing career success stories. First success story. Meet Omar B. from warehouse employee to IT professional. I met Omar through a high school classmate when I moved to Texas from Florida. The two of them lived in a smaller city about 1 hour and 30 minutes away from Dallas. There was a huge college game coming to Dallas, so I invited them up to hang out for the weekend. He mentioned to me his frustration with his current job. Omar has a ton of technical skills. However, he expressed interest in working in the IT world. With some motivation and encouragement, he made the transition, and he's now an IT professional. Second success story. Meet Aram B. from entry-level communications job to IT professional. One day I stopped by to visit Aram. He mentioned to me his frustration with his current job. I educated him on the importance of keeping his skills relevant with the market. That was when I introduced the Agile framework to him. Aram took my advice and signed up to obtain a Scrum Master certification. After receiving his Scrum Master certification, it landed him a job at one of the largest tech firms in the country. Third success story. Meet DF, from customer service to IT help desk specialist. He spent years performing the role of an IT help desk specialist. However, the job title said customer service specialist. Once I realized that, it brought memories on how my former mentor had educated me on the power of reading the job description when you apply for a job, as in most cases, you are performing the work of a job title that pays more. D made the move to Dallas. He landed 3 temporary IT help desk jobs until finally landing a full-time job with benefits in less than 3 years. Fourth success story. Brian A. With the help of Gil's mentorship and career coaching, I was able to identify my purpose and career direction. I was able to refocus my financial goals into something beneficial for my family and career. Gil's motivation gave me the confidence I needed to step out of my comfort zone. Today, I am more empowered to exercise my full potential. Chapter 1. What you will find in this chapter. Lack of confidence is stopping my job search. How to land a tech job without prior experience. How to land a tech job after coding bootcamp. 7 trusted freelance companies to work for remotely. Lack of confidence is stopping my job search. In order to get the job you really want, you need confidence. Confidence will help you break through the commonly felt anxiety that you aren't good enough for that level of employment, that you don't have enough experience, or that you will be seen as a disappointment during the interview process. Before walking through the door, this lack of confidence has set you up for failure. You don't see yourself as having the job already. You see yourself as not getting the job you want. Take a step back. In order to get hired for your dream job, you need to know that you are capable of achieving your goals. Otherwise, your self-hesitancy will be seen, and not your skills or true personality. Here are some tips to boost your confidence to help you in your job search. Research the company. Employers like to know that the people who they are hiring understand their mission and work ethic. So before you interview, research the company. Find out as much as you can and use that information in your interview. Then you might say, I know that last year this company was ranked in the top 10% for XYZ. That is an incredible feat given the competition in this field. I want to be a part of this success and know I can help this company reach their next goal. Having this knowledge will also help you to understand not only the company's strengths, but also their weaknesses. Use this to your advantage and to help empower you during your interview. Also, research the company's competition. Find out what their competitors' strengths and weaknesses are. In business, this is called a SWOT, strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats, analysis. Your interviewer will be impressed when they see all the notes you've taken on their company and their competitors. You came to the meeting prepared to get that job. Ignore your inner voice. Sometimes we set ourselves up for failure just because our inner voice takes over our mindset. You might be prepared for the questions, dressed to impress, and ready to nail the interview. But then your inner voice starts making you second-guess what you are doing. I don't have all the education required. There will be more qualified candidates than me. I should have gotten a haircut. I should have added more to my portfolio. It's too small. By this point, you are talking yourself out of the job. Why am I wasting my time? I'm not going to get the job anyway. You just set yourself up for failure. The person who walked out of their house was calm and ready. Now they are self-defeated and ready to turn around instead of nailing the interview. You need to quiet your inner voice. Don't let self-doubt get in the way of your goals. Some ways you can combat this are: meditate and ground yourself. Listen to motivating music, something with high energy that will lift your mood. Remind yourself of your goals and why you are applying for this job in the first place. You want the pay you deserve. You want to be able to provide for your family. You want to set your children up so they don't have to struggle with student loans. You want a job you will love. If you walk in the door with a positive attitude, you will shine. Don't let self-doubt get in the way of your success. Write things down. At least a day or two before the interview, write down the important things that you want to make sure you mention during your meeting. If you try to wing it, you might forget something that could have made a difference because you were nervous. Bringing notes does not make you look unprepared. It shows your interviewer you put a lot of effort into getting ready for your meeting. The idea is not to write a novel, but just have some talking points about your experience, work ethic, background, etc. Some things you may want to include in your talking points: skills, previous jobs, software you have experience using or that you worked on developing, achievements or awards you have earned. You want to write down all the qualities you possess that would prompt an employer to hire you. Don't be afraid to identify your flaws too. If there is something specific that the job description's outlined as being a requirement, but it is not your biggest strength, let the person interviewing you know that. I know you asked for someone who has knowledge of ABC. While I am familiar with the program, I haven't had a lot of experience working with it. However, I am a fast learner and enjoy challenges. I can most definitely get up to speed in no time. You might be surprised to hear that the company rarely used that program anyway. Good thing you didn't avoid applying for the job because you didn't have all the required experience. You'd be missing out on a great interview opportunity. Break bad habits and set yourself up to win. We all have bad habits, and we all know what they are. Do you smoke? Leave the laundry in the washer too long and then have to wash it again before you can dry it? Stay up too late at night watching television? Or say you will start eating healthier but can't avoid buying all that junk food when shopping? Whatever your bad habit is, pick one and break it. How is this going to get you a new job, you may ask? By showing yourself you can do anything you set your mind to. If your habit is staying up too late at night and then you are dragging the next day, go to bed an hour earlier. When you start to see the difference in your energy levels, it will give you a new confidence that you can accomplish even bigger goals. When you can change your mindset and increase your confidence, you will start to see great things take place. This includes getting that new job you want. How to land a tech job without prior experience. When you have the desire to work in the tech industry but lack the required experience to land a job, you will need to create a working resume. Anyone can write they work at Company X and have been an IT specialist for the last 6 years. But what are your skills? You don't know because you haven't actually worked there. Furthermore, a good recruiter can find out in less than 2 minutes if your employment track record is a fallacy with a simple phone call. So the first tip here is, to be honest. Don't make up work experience. Instead, actually list on your resume work you have done. But how do I get a job when no one will hire me so I can get the relevant experience? The answer is, you create your own experiences. Creating your own experience as a freelancer. A freelancer is a person who works on their own, not for a company, and provides the work a client is seeking. There are many websites for freelancers that can help you start to build a working portfolio. On these sites, clients will post something like, "Seeking a web designer," or "Need help with IT marketing." This is where you can shine. Apply for these jobs even if it is at a very low pay rate. The objective is not to make a lot of money, but to build your resume and work experience. If you are working with a marketing client, keep track of your success for that client. Then, in your resume, you can include in your skill, help the startup increase revenue by 50%, web designer, social media specialist. Use whatever you did as a freelancer to build up your resume. Some of the sites that are great starting points for freelancers are listed under 7 trusted freelance companies to work for. Create a platform to share your work. What better way is there to promote yourself as a tech-savvy individual than to have a website displaying all your work? Creating a platform to share your work is a great way to showcase your work experience. Again, this will take a little bit of time to put together, but if you don't have a ton of outside experience, the goal is to create a working resume. This is one way you can do that. There are several hosting companies you can use to purchase a domain name and build out a website in little time. If you want to show you are a coder, you can use a site that allows you to embed code. This is a place where you can show off your work. Use samples from your freelance work to help build out this site. Connect through social media. Websites such as LinkedIn were designed to connect executives with each other. This has attracted a vast array of job recruiters who are looking for new talent. In fact, all social media sites are looked at by recruiters. Therefore, you need to be on these sites too. Create a Facebook page about your tech or IT business. Set up a LinkedIn account sharing your website with recruiters. Use Twitter to tweet out what assignments you are working on. Just saw results of latest social media campaign. Happy clients today. Do not be afraid to boast about your successes. No one will do it for you, and if you want a job in the tech field, you need to get your name out there. You also need a solid portfolio of work, since you don't have a past employer that can be called upon for a reference. Take online classes to get the skills you need. If you have absolutely no experience or skills in technology, don't let that dissuade you. Most likely, you will want to expedite your learning experiences and have some solid information to add to the education section of your resume. For this, you take online courses or attend a coding bootcamp course. These resources are an easily accessible way to learn the skills you need to start your technology career. Let's say you were looking for a social media marketing bootcamp. Simply go to www.udemy.com/social-media-marketing-bootcamp. And you will find dozens of program opportunities for a fraction of the cost our competitors would charge. Codecademy.com is another site where you can learn the skills you need to start your technology career. If you have a specific niche you are looking to break into, a Google search may produce additional online courses for you to take. Here is a more in-depth look at what each site offers. Codecademy.com. Codecademy.com is an online interactive platform that offers free coding classes in 12 different programming languages, including Python, Java, JavaScript, Ruby, SQL, C++, and SAS, as well as markup languages like HTML and CSS. Udemy.com. Unlike Codecademy.com, Udemy's vast course list is not limited to programming. Although most classes are not free, you can explore other sectors of the tech industry if programming is not where you want to take your career. Udemy offers courses in Social Media Marketing Bootcamp, Scrum Certification, Business Analysis, Project Management, and QA software testing. These online courses are self-paced, which is ideal for someone who has a day job and busy life. You can learn in the comfort of your home, while little by little gaining confidence in mastering a new skill set. Code Bootcamps. If you are specifically interested in programming and need more hands-on experience in a classroom setting, research code bootcamps in your area. A code bootcamp generally takes 3 months of all-day studying and applying your skills to practical jobs. By the end, you will have a final project you can use to showcase to companies what you have learned. Early on, you will choose between front-end or back-end development. Don't let this decision trip you up. Many programmers move on to jobs where they eventually learn both. A bootcamp essentially teaches how to think like a programmer. Whatever language, JavaScript, Ruby, or C#, what you learn in bootcamp is not the only language you will learn. The tech industry is rapidly evolving every day. Bootcamps prepare you for the inevitability of technologies becoming outdated while new ones take off. While all of this will take some time, it will help you to land the job you ultimately want, as well as help you to hone in on exactly which sector you want to work in. You may have thought you wanted to be in database management, but after a few freelance jobs you realized you really like social media marketing. Feel free to explore and build your work experience. The rest will soon fall into place. How to land a tech job after coding bootcamp. If you took a coding bootcamp course, there are 2 things to keep in mind when it comes to landing a tech job. Have an open mind and don't get discouraged. Just like those who graduated college, you now have a wealth of knowledge and want to put it to practical use. But you need to find a job. Finding a job takes time and patience. Here are some tips to help you stay motivated during the process. Don't expect to work for Microsoft fresh out of the gate. Competition is high, and even those with a computer science degree do not have a lot of experience fresh out of college. When competing against those with a BS degree, you won't win. Look for a small firm or even a startup company. They understand what it is like to be the new kid on the block and can appreciate ambition and dedication just as much as knowledge. Don't get discouraged. It may take working like it's your full-time job to get a job. You will need to put in the time to research a company, build your resume, and find the keywords to sell yourself as the person for the job. Also, for those companies that use computer software to screen applicants, you might have to rework your resume a few times before you start landing interviews. Computer software searches for keywords the company is seeking in a candidate. If you do make it to a face-to-face or video chat interview, don't get upset if you don't get the job. Use the interview process as its own learning experience. The more you go to, the better you will get at knowing the types of questions that will be asked and how to answer them in a way that piques your prospective employer's interest. Don't look down on small jobs. Don't be afraid to take an internship or temporary position. Use it as a stepping stone to get to the next level. Everyone starts somewhere, and most start at the bottom. You can only go up from there. Be sure to add every new experience to your resume. If you learned a new skill or program, make sure you include that in your next round of resumes to go out. 7 trustworthy freelance companies for remote work. Fiverr.com. Fiverr is the biggest marketplace in the world when it comes to buying or selling all kinds of digital as well as physical services. Fiverr permits users to search a selection of thousands of freelancers offering their services, which are called gigs, and then place orders simply and easily. How to sign up. Fiverr is free to become a member, and you must be a member in order to either buy or sell on this platform. Locating a service. It's easy to search Fiverr via the multiple categories of services, or you can use its built-in search feature if you want a certain kind of service, or know the name of the seller. Putting in your order. After locating the gig you want, just click onto it to get additional information. You will then be able to read through things like what types of services the person provides, what they charge, and some have uploaded portfolios or videos that explain their services. Fiverr recommends that you contact the seller before making an order. If you like what you see, then go ahead and follow the ordering process and make your order. Note: every purchase is subject to a service fee, which is how Fiverr makes its money. Fiverr has 24/7 customer support for all orders, for both buyers and sellers. Upwork.com. Upwork is another good choice to locate more customers and start running and growing a freelance business. Choice of working on the jobs that match your qualifications. Upwork lets freelancers run their own business, pick your own customers, and pick your own jobs. Members merely fill out their profile and Upwork highlights jobs that match their qualifications. Or you can reply to a customer's request or invitation, or search through open jobs. Lots of variety and high-paying jobs. Customers post new jobs every day in hundreds of different expertise categories, and they can pay top prices for excellent work. Greater success as time goes by. The more successful your jobs turn out, the better your chances at getting chosen by future customers who go through Upwork. Freelancer.com. What is Freelancer.com? Freelancer.com is an online job marketplace that connects customers and freelancers worldwide and allows them to team up for shared benefits. Anyone who needs skilled workers for short or long-term jobs can post the specifics, and then freelancers can submit bids and compete to be chosen for the job. Freelancer.com delivers instantaneous access to thousands of independent contractors with precise skills, with no requirements for the customer to pay for an ad, a workplace, insurance, or anything else except payment. The freelancer completing the job in return gets a continuous source to find part-time or full-time work prospects, without having to advertise or promote themselves. Signing up. Anyone can search through the jobs listed at freelancer.com, but if you want to bid on a listed job, you must register and become a member. Here are the steps to become a member. Number 1, go to the sign-up page and fill out a brief registration form that asks you to create a username to identify you on the website. Plus, you must list a valid email and confirm that you have read the site's terms and conditions. They don't ask for any personal info. Verify your email address by responding to Freelancer's resulting email, which contains a link and confirmation code. Follow the instructions in the email to confirm subscription and make your account active. Create a profile. You must provide info regarding you and your business, which is then put on your profile page, so potential clients will have a summary of your services and/or desires. You should not share either personal or contact information. Jobs. Jobs are posted by listed employers along with a description of the work, necessary skill requirements, and the budget range. Freelancers can look these over or do a search of all the posted jobs to find ones that match their abilities or interests. After noting the complete descriptions of relevant jobs, the freelancers can bid, as well as upload samples of their work to their portfolio page, so potential employers can check. The employers can then scrutinize the bids and work samples posted to figure out which freelancer is the best for the job. And then the employer awards the job to the person or people of their choice. Employers are encouraged to post precise and comprehensive descriptions for their needed jobs. Freelancer.com's posting and bidding structures are intended for maximum satisfactory outcomes for both the freelancer and the employer. Accounts. All registered Freelancer.com users get a free online account to handle payments and/or fund transfers. Monies can be added as direct payouts from other users via jobs, contests, or from numerous payment processing sources like credit cards, PayPal, Skrill, or a bank transfer. A freelancer can extract funds from their Freelancer.com account through express withdrawal, wire withdrawal, PayPal, or Skrill. Also, there is an option for a special debit card that gives users instant access to funds posted in their accounts. Withdrawal requests are processed weekly. Minimal fees may apply to some kinds of transfers to offset processing costs, and if so, these are deducted at the time of transfer. Any fees owed to Freelancer.com for memberships, job acceptance, tests, etc. are likewise deducted from users' accounts as practical. Payouts. Employers can pay freelancers through transfers from their accounts to the provider's accounts like milestone payments, invoices, or fund transfers. Monies can be deposited to milestone payment system and are released as prearranged milestones in the job are fulfilled. Employers are not obligated to pay freelancers upfront and should only contemplate this if they have a contract with a freelancer they trust, and any payments released can only be refunded upon a freelancer's consent. Short-term jobs can likewise be paid through the milestone payment system to guarantee to the freelancer that the funds are there and at the same time let the employer keep the funds in their accounts until the job is done to their satisfaction. Freelancer.com has a rating and feedback system for jobs, but only if the payments are paid via their own platform. Feedback and ratings. When a job is finished through payments made within the Freelancer.com platform, the feedback and rating system for that job is activated. This offers the chance for the employer and freelancer to rate each other's performance via comments and a 5-star rating scale. To guarantee fairness, subscribers can additionally respond to each other's rating comments. The overall rating and ratings for individual jobs for each freelancer is posted on the freelancer's profile page. This helps potential employers evaluate the worth of working with a particular freelancer. The feedback and rating system lets employers and freelancers have a chance to build up their reputations via performance. Additionally, it lets the whole Freelancer.com community have additional protection against possible scams and/or substandard business dealings. PeoplePerHour.com. People Per Hour, or PPH, is a platform for freelancers that connects buyers with a massive selection of skilled freelancers who offer all sorts of business services, ranging from writing to designing logos, creating websites, and much more. How it works. Buyers can hire freelancers via the following methods. Purchase an offer. A prepackaged fixed-price service delivered within a stated time frame, i.e. a few hours or as much as 5 days. Offers are perfect for a small task or if you desire to try a freelancer's skills before using them for a bigger job. Post a job. A potential buyer lists the exact details of the services they need. Then freelancers bid for the job and tell the buyer why they are the best choice for the job and what they will accept as payment. Browse freelancer profiles. Buyers can contact a freelancer directly if they want a custom proposal. After choosing the method of hire, the buyer and freelancer start the job by the buyer putting payment into a special escrow account. For a custom job, the escrow is the agreed-upon deposit amount, and for offers, the deposit is the full payment. Payment to the freelancer is only released after they complete the job. PPH doesn't allow buyers to begin work with a freelancer if a proposal has not been approved and the escrow deposit has not been made. All communication, payment, or other activities exchanged between the buyer and freelancer is then tracked through Workstream. The PPH Workstream tool allows the buyer and the freelancer to continue to work together on future jobs, merely by accepting additional proposals. The following is a short guide to getting hired and earning money using PPH if you are a freelancer. Number 1. You must register to become a member of PPH, but no worries as it is fast, easy, and free. Number 2. Create a good profile. Having a good profile is the key to making a great impression on potential customers, so be sure not to rush through the creation process. You want to sell all your skills, experience, and talents. Be sure to add some good examples of your past work as this is vital. Get a head start on a good PPH reputation by being endorsed by trusted connections. Number 3. Post an offer to show off your services so as to get buyers. Word it in a unique fashion so you stand out from other freelancers. Think about what you want to say, how you want to say it, and what you want to charge. You can also choose to feature the offer to stand out even further and have a better chance of being noticed by buyers. Number 4. Browse through the new jobs, and be sure to set up personalized saved searches so you can be notified via email if new jobs appear on PPH that match your skills and experience. Be sure to submit persuasive proposals to help you get chosen for jobs. Number 5. Always communicate regularly with buyers using Workstream. Be sure to deliver your product on schedule and always follow all the PPH rules of engagement. If you make your buyers happy, you are sure to get more work and get some good feedback marks to boost your rank and help you get additional jobs. Number 6. After a job is done for your buyer and they are happy with the results, you send in your invoice to be paid, and this releases the funds already in escrow for the job payments. Then, the buyer can leave feedback, which is vital to the freelancer to help them gain future jobs. TopTal.com. How does TopTal differ? Many establishments are confronted with the problem of locating dependable engineers, designers, or other kinds of specific skilled workers. TopTal uses smart infrastructure along with a demanding screening procedure to produce the top talent worldwide. Most of the time in a characteristic TopTal get-together, TopTal introduces you to applicants within one day, and 90% of their patrons hire the first applicant introduced. The contending applicants aren't just your average man or woman on the street either. TopTal painstakingly screens all applicants to certify they only provide experts of the uppermost caliber. TopTal accepts less than 3% of the over 100,000 people who apply to join their network every year. These include hand-picked experts in design, technology, or business, and you never have to deal with generalized recruiters and/or HR representatives. DesignCrowd.com. DesignCrowd is an online logo design service and market for website design contests and virtually any other type of graphic design there is. Businesses and individuals who need a design can choose DesignCrowd to hold a design contest to pick the top design or list a freelance graphic design job for a lesser cost. Their global designer community specializes in all range of design pros in categories such as logos, website creation, and graphic and brochure design from the United States, United Kingdom, Europe, India, and Australia. The communal creativity of all these designers can be harnessed by using a design crowdsourcing model and finding the top design via a design contest via DesignCrowd. If you already know precisely what kind of design you need and only need somebody to do it, or perhaps your design is too complicated to hold as a contest, then you can list a freelance job. Then, designers are requested to submit their desire to work on your project, and then you select the top designer for the project. When utilizing DesignCrowd, the whole design process from start to finish is managed via the DesignCrowd platform. From a brief description to communicating with your designers to getting your designs and paying for them, everything is included in the DesignCrowd marketplace. To summarize, DesignCrowd acts as your agent to aid in finding the top design possible, reduces your risk, and provides protection. Thousands of clients have already utilized DesignCrowd via crowdsourcing logo or web design, and much more. Guru.com. Work via milestones. Guru uses milestones to track and pay for jobs. These are checkpoints created by the customer to guarantee they are satisfied with the completed work during the whole job process. Clients can put as many milestones into their project as they desire, as well as set up due dates each milestone must be met and how much the freelancer receives at each completed milestone. Work via task. Customers can also pay for one completed task no matter the size of the job. They can make a task and assign the work as required, and then create invoices for each one as they are finished. Hourly work. Customers can easily track a freelancer's progress and confidently make hourly payments by using the platform's time tracker software, which allows them to track the job as it progresses. The software is continuously being updated so as to keep it efficient and effective, and clients are allowed to hire as many freelancers per job as desired. Work paid via recurring payments. Clients can also easily pay freelancers via recurring payments by setting up as many as 4 recurring payment rules for a specific job. They can choose to make payment weekly, every 2 weeks, monthly, or quarterly, and can stop or resume these payments at any time. Chapter 2. This chapter includes: don't pay to have your resume done professionally. How to write a resume to land a tech job without prior experience. Sample resumes. Don't pay to have your resume done professionally. There are tons of YouTube videos and additional online resources you can watch and reference for tips on resume writing. Plus, Google is a great resource to search your exact job title and find resume samples and templates that can be downloaded. How to write a resume to land a tech job without prior experience. When you are trying to break into the technology world, there are some tips you will want to follow regarding your resume. The most important thing to remember is you do not necessarily need to have experience working in the tech industry to get a tech job. You can use the skills you have and utilize them to achieve your goal. Here are some things to keep in mind when creating your new resume geared for a tech job. Don't include skill sets that everyone at the company is expected to have. Most job applications are now online, so including in your resume that you are good with computers, can use Microsoft Office Suite, and are familiar with Outlook are a given. These are skills all job seekers in today's workforce are equipped with, and they will not help you to stand out in a crowd. It's just as irrelevant as where you went to middle school. That doesn't belong on your resume either. What technical skills should your resume include? Can you write HTML code? Have you done website build-outs? Are you an SEO specialist? While these items may be common among the pool of candidates also applying for a tech job, it's a relevant skill to note because not everyone is able to do things like write code. Showcase your portfolio and work experience in a creative way. As your employer is sifting through resumes, there will be ones they pull aside and further research the candidate's online presence. If party pics with you doing body shots comes up in the first search, your resume will end up in the circular file. Instead, don't give the company that you are applying to the opportunity to Google you, and include links to your social media accounts right in your resume. This will do 3 things. It will make their job easier. It will allow you to direct the researcher's attention to what you want them to see and read. It will help them to find the right accounts. You do not need to include every social media account that you have. Just include the ones that best demonstrate your work ethic and professional presence. Be sure to include things like your LinkedIn profile and your personal website. If you have worked on jobs where you highlight your skills, include those too. If you don't have a portfolio of jobs, make sure your personal website has content that can be construed as a completed task, such as a mock job. The point here is to show your prospective employer you are capable of doing the work that you say you have the skills in, and make it easy for them to find your work. Also, if you did any work pro bono to give yourself working experience, be sure to add that too. Did you design a website for a local civic group that you are a member of? Be sure to list that. Education. The education section of your website does not necessarily have to be what you have already completed. It can also include classes you are currently taking if they are applicable to the industry. No one cares that you are taking a cooking class. That does not belong on your IT resume. However, if you are taking a coding class or a specialized online marketing class through Udemy, that would be relevant information you will want to list. Know the words that screeners are looking for in resumes. Companies often get hundreds of resumes for a single job opening. To make their jobs easier, many utilize computer programs that scan the applications for keywords. If you are able to get through this screening process, you have survived Phase 1. Congratulations! That means you are one step closer to an interview. To do this, be specific about what your skills are. Instead of saying you can write code, specifically say you know HTML or CSS. If you are a marketing specialist, make sure you say that you know SEO. If you are a graphic designer, don't just say you are an expert with graphic design tools. Specify that you know how to use Illustrator, Flash, Photoshop, or whatever you have experience using. Adding these keywords can make the difference between having your resume added to the interview pile and having it filed in the paper basket. Chapter 3. What you will find in this chapter. How to transition out of your current job to the tech industry. How to move up within your current company. How to transition out of your current job to the tech industry. When you are ready to transition out of your current job, that does not mean you just toss away the skill sets you have been using. You will still need these for a job in the tech industry. You will also need a new set of skills that you will use simultaneous with your old skills. The tech industry is not unlike other lines of work. It's just an offspring. Let's say you currently work in human resources. When employees have a problem with a supervisor or payroll, they come to you. When you have problems with your computer, you call your IT department. All of these different departments make up the company you work for and work together. It's just different skills and titles that differentiate you from them. Therefore, transitioning to a tech job is just like transferring departments within the same company. You will need to know a little of everything to get started, and you will acquire new skills throughout your employment. Find a mentor or friend who can guide you through the transition. Networking is an important part of breaking into the tech industry. Utilize your connections to find someone who can coach you on making the transition to a tech job. If you don't know anyone, then get out of your comfort zone and seek out new people who can help you. Consider joining groups or clubs in your business community, where you can meet and connect with others in your new area of interest. Local chambers of commerce can be a great place to start. These networking groups can help you to meet new people in the industry and identify gaps in your skill set that will help you gain the employment you are eager to acquire. Take the time to learn new skills. If you feel that you want to go back to school or get a computer science degree, you are of course more than welcome to. That's a personal choice, but it's not entirely necessary to break into the tech world. There are online classes you can take that will help you build your skill sets in a shorter amount of time and are more cost-effective. Don't forget the importance of researching the types of companies you want to work for and look at their employment requirements. This will help you to determine what you need to learn or develop further. Come up with a timeline. After you have researched, develop the list of the skills that you may need, and talk to your networking partners to see the best ways of acquiring these skill sets. Come up with a timeline for when you can start applying for jobs in the tech industry. Will it take you 6 months to take a class and build an online portfolio? A year? Everyone is different. The more motivated you are and the more prepared, the faster you can be seen as a qualified candidate. How to move up within your current company. Sometimes it's easier to move up or change departments within your current company than to seek out a new type of job at a different company. While some think that letting their supervisors know they want to work in a different department is frowned upon, many times employers prefer to hire from within. Why should I look for a job within the company? Your supervisor and human resource executives know you and your work ethic. They can see that you don't take unnecessary time off. that you haven't been written up for poor work performance, and that you have been with them for a length of time. You are the ideal employee. This is a plus for you. You don't have to prove you are a good employee, they already know. Often, it is easier to hire from within than to seek out candidates from the general public. When a job gets posted, the hiring team only has job references to go by when trying to determine a candidate's work ethic. If the references turned out to be illegitimate and the candidate does not work out, they have to start the hiring process all over again. This is time-consuming and can be frustrating. By hiring from within, employers may need to spend a little time teaching a job candidate a particular skill, but it is far less time-consuming and cheaper than hiring from the outside. Be honest about your strengths and weaknesses. When you are talking to human resources about seeking out a new job at the company, be clear about what you are good at and what you'd like to be doing. Also, be clear about the areas that you may not have experience in, but want to gain the knowledge. They might be able to point you in the right direction to get properly trained. Again, you are an asset to the company because they know you. Be upfront with them. Be open-minded. There may be opportunities that don't necessarily look attractive, but can be a stepping stone to where you ultimately want to go. If you want to make a move within your company, volunteer for a job that is outside of your normal job, and show your boss you are capable of doing different types of work. For example, let's say someone in a tech role is going to be out on leave for several weeks. Hiring a temporary employee would not be cost-effective, as the amount of time it would take to train someone to do the work may not be lucrative or beneficial. If an opportunity like this arises, and you have at least some of the skills to do the work from the classes you have already taken, volunteer yourself. By taking on this temporary position, you are showing that you have initiative and that you are a team player. The next time someone is going to be out of work, or if someone leaves their position, you have an advantage over everyone else, because you have already done the work. Chapter 4. What you will find in this chapter. How to interview for the tech job you want. Learn how to sell yourself during an interview. Learn how to answer, "So tell me about yourself," question. What hiring managers are looking for. How to apply to these top tech companies. How to interview for the tech job you want. No matter how many times you have gone for an interview, they never get easier. You typically do not know who will be in the room, how many people will be there, or what questions will be asked. If you did, it would be so much easier. But part of the interview process does have to do with how you handle an unknown situation and react to it. The objective of any interview is to stand out from the rest of the candidates in a positive way and get the job. Sometimes candidates are also given the opportunity to ask questions about the position. It's not a trap. Employers want to see how much you understand about the job and ensure that you can handle it. One thing to keep in mind is that this is not an interview for just the job. This is also an opportunity for you to interview your prospective employer. You want to feel comfortable in this new position. If the people are cold and rude, this might not be a place you want to work at. Here are a few tips on how to be more at ease during your interview. Research the company you are interviewing for. I've mentioned in other areas of this book the importance of researching the company. You want to know everything you can about the place that you may be hired. Look at their website, Google their name, and read any articles that come up. Look at their social media accounts, and review any job postings that are public. You want to be equipped with as much knowledge going into the interview as you can. Have your portfolio ready to share. This is not the time to leave your laptop at home. Bring it with you so that if you are asked about a particular job that you noted in your resume, you can show the interviewers. Chances are they have already clicked on the links in your resume and looked at your personal website. But there is a reason they may ask to see them during the interview. First, they want to make sure the links you gave are actually yours. They will also most likely ask you questions about your work and how you accomplished it. This is part of the process, to test your skills and knowledge about IT. Prove you want the job. Even if you don't have a lot of experience, you can make up for that by showing how passionate you are wanting to work in tech. Talk about the groups that you are a member of, jobs that you have consulted on, classes that you have taken, and seminars that you have attended. If you are only able to stand out because you have put in the effort to get the job, then you have succeeded. Learn how to sell yourself during an interview. During an interview, you want to sell yourself as a prepared and confident person who wants the job. In order to do this, you want to be educated about the company. You also want to have smart questions to ask, showing that you understand their mission and corporate identity as well as the job. Some questions you will want to ask will pertain to the following information you have acquired: the research you did online about the company, perhaps about the success of their corporate giving program, the job description and any parts of it you find challenging or are able to successfully fulfill. Consider yourself already employed and what a day-to-day will look like. If it wasn't in the job description, will travel be required? Be ready with an answer to an anticipated question. Sitting there having to think about the answer can make you look unprepared. If you are able to answer questions and then follow them up with a question of your own, this will go a long way. At the end of the interview, have at least one question to ask about the job or company that wasn't previously covered. This will show that you care about the company and want to be a part of it. Learn how to answer the "so tell me about yourself" question. When someone says, "tell me about yourself," it's not meant to be a trick question. A hiring interview is asking this question to get to know you better, because chances are they know nothing about you other than what was written in your resume. In order to get to know you beyond what those 1 or 2 pieces of paper said, the interview will ask you some basic questions. Tell me about yourself. Simple, right? You do not want to overshare. They don't need to know about your dentist visit or the time you drove to New Jersey to visit relatives, but you want to make sure you answer the question in a way that leaves a positive, lasting impression. Take advantage of the opportunities given to you. When you are presented with the "tell me about yourself" question, this is probably your best chance at letting the company know why they should hire you. Why do you want to work for the company? Why don't you want to work in your prior field? Why is a career in tech important to you? This is what they want to hear. From there, you can elaborate using the present, past, future system. Present, past, future. First, you want to talk about your present career. Then, you want to give a glimpse of your past, mentioning any skills that you learned that would be beneficial to the company. Finally, you want to discuss where you want to be in the future and how working for this company will get you there. Here's an example. I'm currently working as a creative account manager at Mark & Sons, where I develop advertising campaigns for large commercial accounts. Prior to that, I worked in advertising sales for a smaller firm in Minneapolis. I was a top seller and really liked the creative aspect, which led me to my current company. While I really like the work I'm doing, I want to understand the design aspect of the computer programs we use. There are problems that I have noted that need to be resolved, and I would like to help make them better, if not create a system that would be beneficial to large companies like Mark & Sons. This is why I want to work with your company and help to develop programs for the graphic design industry and beyond. That's it. Where you are now, what you did before, where you want to be in the future. And don't forget to mention your experiences and skills that will benefit the company should they hire you. You want to design programming that will help them sell more products. You found a gap in the market that has not been answered. You want to help them. Finally, try to be relaxed during this exchange of information. After all, you are talking about the one thing you know best: you. What hiring managers are looking for. You made it through the resume cycle, and you have an interview. You've managed not to pass out during the initial introductions and have answered the hardest question of your life. Tell me about yourself. Now you need to close out the interview standing out as a memorable person who will be the best candidate for the job. What exactly are hiring managers looking for, and how can you seal the deal? The reality is, most of the people who make it to the interview are qualified, on paper, for the job. However, how they present themselves, how they will fit in with the company's mission and employees, and how they will represent the company are important factors that a hiring manager is looking for in a potential employee. Here is how you can help the hiring manager see that you are the person they need. Understand the company's work culture. Does the company run a tight ship where everyone is in suits and only talks about work-related topics? Or is the company comprised of a laid-back CEO with similar administrative staff similar to hippies? Ensuring that you will fit in with the company's culture is what a hiring manager wants to see. Show the hiring manager that your experience will benefit them. A hiring manager wants to know that the work experience you have will benefit them. They need to see that your knowledge or willingness to learn will help them grow as a company, not hinder them. During your interview, you will most likely have the opportunity to talk about why they should hire you. This is an important question that can set you apart from others. What do you have to offer? Why should they invest time and money training you? How can you benefit them? Knowing the answers to these questions before you walk in the door will greatly benefit you and your chances of getting hired. Make sure the hiring manager knows you want the job. Whether you reiterate it before you leave, send a follow-up email thanking them for their time, or send a written note. Be sure to include something that indicates that you look forward to seeing them soon and working for the company. How to apply to these top tech companies. Instagram. How to get a job at Instagram. Advice from women who did. Be passionate. Embrace your passion and make it a part of your brand, said Berta. My passion was empowering young women, and that landed me my job. Be proud of who you are. We hired veterans who had tours in Iraq and Afghanistan, as well as people who just graduated from college and people who had years of experience. It is all about being proud of who you are and promoting yourself, said Pam. Think fast. Instagram can be a very high-pressure environment, said Tammy. That means you must be driven and able to solve problems quickly. Keep on being inspired. Job candidates can't merely be interested in an open position, said Shelley. They must also be devoted to their community, as that is key for any applicant. Use your knowledge. Everyone can bring new abilities to the table, said Maria. I learn from others every day, no matter what their job is or their age. You have to remember what you have learned and be able to show how that will work to the good of the company. Snapchat. Interns at Snap Inc. Snapchat hires intelligent, caring, and imaginative students from all over the world to become part of their Snap intern class. They firmly believe the top products come from a partnership of all types of people. They concentrate on hiring students who are from varied schools, diverse backgrounds, and who have the specific skill sets needed by each team that is hosting an intern. They presently hire interns in 7 Snap offices, focusing on engineering, research, and business. They provide an environment that encourages growth, and their interns get mentored by intelligent leaders and get the chance to improve themselves daily. Kinds of internships at Snap Inc. Engineering. Engineering interns at Snap are at levels of undergraduate to PhD programs. They are charged with finding solutions to intriguing technical trials. These range from designing and installing infrastructure to creating a smooth, safe mobile client that millions of people use daily. These interns will keep having a huge influence on Snapchat's products. Studies. The interns at Snap Research work on exclusive research issues, along with Snapchat's research teams located in New York City, Seattle, and Los Angeles. The interns work on trailblazing research issues, then publish their findings to the best academic conferences, as well as work with innovative brand new technology and features in partnerships with product teams. Business. Snap keeps growing, and the interns working in business are helping to shape a diversity of creativity and thinking. Snap business internships are intermingled within various types of teams. Snap hosts students who are undergraduates and master students all during the summer term, who come from numerous colleges worldwide. Be yourself daily. Diversity, inclusion, empowerment. Millions of persons who come from a multitude of backgrounds use Snapchat daily to talk to their family and friends. Resource groups keep working every day so they can help to make a solid difference in the way things are done, as well as make true lifetime friends. Lady Chillas. Lady Chillas backs, encourages, and promotes females at Snap via workshops, outreaches for needy women, and by bringing together the Snap family so it can take a look at all the problems women face these days. Snap Noir. Snap Noir is a medium for nurturing both cultural understanding and diversity, as well as paving the way for those from the African diaspora to be able to professionally develop both in their community and at Snap Noir. Snap Pride. Snap Pride accepts and rejoices in people from all kinds of lifestyles, as well as different genders and sexualities. Snap Pride emphasizes empowering the local community, as well as helping to grow awareness of LGBTQ+ issues and help educate the public about them. Los Snaps. Los Snaps empowers, elevates, and rejoices in the unique kinds of diversity making up the Latino community, as it creates educational and integration prospects in the Snap community. Snapchat is now famous due to its frisky filters and its ability to engage people in real time. It has given brands a very attractive and profitable platform where they can target the over 100 million people who daily use Snapchat. It has even made Facebook take a look at what it offered and causing it to create Instagram stories. Facebook. Send in a resume. To work for Facebook, you should apply on the internet or give your resume to a recruiter. Be aware the top candidates have all the needed experience and skills to work in the areas they apply to. How Facebook hires. Facebook hires brilliant people for positions all throughout its company, and they stress putting those they hire where they can do the work they really like. It's a pretty straightforward hiring process. The hiring process. Put in an application for open positions, or you can give or send a resume to a recruiter. Be aware the candidates that are the most successful already have the skills needed and the experience desired to the job they are applying to. If you are picked to go forward in the hiring process, you will get contacted by a recruiter from Facebook. If picked to go forward, you will also talk to a person from the recruiting team to find out additional info on the job you have applied to fill and learn how it feels to be a Facebook worker. You could be interviewed via phone or on video. Facebook's goal is to see just how interested you are and if you have what it takes to do the daily work concerning the position you are applying for. If chosen to head to the next step, you'll be requested to do an interview in person and on site, and will be interviewed by managers, cross-functional Facebook partners, and your potential coworkers. The hiring team will be able to learn all about you, and you also will be able to learn all about Facebook. Facebook will arrange all needed travel and lodgings for your appointment at one of its worldwide offices. Facebook also says prospective employees need to have some patience as the interview results are perused to judge an applicant's experience, performance, and skills. Each person involved in the interview will submit their thoughts on your interview, and then Facebook goes over that info to determine if you are a good fit for the role you applied for, or to see perhaps if you would be a better fit for a different job there. Receive recruiter feedback, then talk about your next move. Next, your recruiter will contact you and go over the results of your interview and let you know the next step in the hiring process if applicable. If you are offered the job, take it. Shrewd choice. You are venturing into a job where tons of very smart folks work, will work on huge issues, and will be a part of helping the world's peoples to get closer to each other. So then you will learn the date you start, fill out the appropriate paperwork, as well as finalize any related relocation facts. Then you merely must choose what outfit you are going to wear on your first day at work. Get a presence offline too. Facebook hosts worldwide events to help them find others and do lots of networking, especially for those in the engineering arena. Lots of times they post on this, or they may send you an invitation if they are interested in you and think you would want to be involved in one of these events. Plus, their recruiters show up at lots of conferences so they can give back to the community and share their know-how as well as meet those who may want a job at Facebook. Make contributions to an open-source community if you are a tech person. The following are a few links that could be relevant to your situation for Android, web, iOS, web, hardware, and backend. You should also add in any open-source positions you are working on and put them into your profile on sites like LinkedIn, GitHub, any online portfolio, as well as additional internet websites you belong to and that are listed on your resume. Networking could pave your way into the fold. Networking is totally a top method for landing a Facebook position. If you can get a referral from a person you know who can directly vouch for your abilities, then go for it, as this will help you get looked at. If not, you need to start networking with other people in your niche, to include anyone who works at Facebook. Probably a person who knows you could directly introduce you, or perhaps they know who could. Actually, a colleague referred me to a Facebook recruiter and then put me on a fast track for an interview. In the span of a week, I got 4 offers, with one being from Facebook. It was one of the top decisions I have ever made. By far, networking is a valuable skill which likely will never become worthless, and it will just keep bringing great opportunities to those who use this skill. Make sure your resume is optimized. While there really is not a single method for formatting resumes, there are some important things you should keep in mind. Stay at 1 or 2 pages without cramming in too much information, so that it is simple to read. Stress how you made a difference in your last position. Stress what helped you stick out, no matter if it is your degree, where you worked, what you did in the past, how you helped out in your town, etc. Make sure anywhere you submitted it that you update it as needed. Buzzwords are good only if you match them to the opening, but if you list them too much, the recruiters will be turned off. Only put in your impact statement. Not needed really, if truly necessary. Read the resumes of those who are already working where you want to be hired, Facebook especially. You might find it on their LinkedIn page. See if you can learn from them. Any precise commonalities? Think hard on them if so. However, this doesn't mean copy from them. Just use them for ideas on how to craft your resume. Don't lie. It will bite you in the butt if you are called on it. If not true, don't put it on the resume. Send a non-solicited email to a recruiter and concentrate on who it goes to. Contact a recruiter by concentrating on the expertise area you are interested in. The majority of recruiters will let you know the type of engineering or non-tech jobs open. Be deliberate and personal in deciding who to contact. The company adores anyone actively seeking a role in their precise recruiting areas because it makes their job so much simpler. Know someone that Facebook recruited? Ask them to introduce you to the recruiter that hired them. They might be glad to assist you. Apply on the internet. Of course, it's best these days to not forget about applying on the internet. They have a great group of folks who look at all the incoming applications and send them off to the right person to review. Build your brand. Get involved with your people no matter if you are a tech-savvy person or not. You have to start building your brand. It's never too soon to know this fact. If you are well known in your niche, be sure to get yourself out there via conferences, writing books and papers, and otherwise sharing what you do worldwide. Everyone reads or views content. However, there is always a need for lots of folks to make it happen. Start getting ready now. Don't delay in getting ready for an interview. Today is the day to learn something new or improve on something you already know. Keep striving to do better in all you do, no matter what the expertise is. Then you will be all ready and willing to take a shot when your interview day arrives. It's likewise vital to understand if you don't get the job at that interview, there is always another day to try for it. Quite a few folks don't get hired on their first or even their third time they interview for something. We are happy to let you interview again and again for one of the jobs here, though we suggest you wait about a year in between interviews if it is for the same job. Good luck. Google, the way to get hired. Google doesn't have just one kind of employee, so they are constantly seeking innovative people who come with all kinds of experiences in life to be part of the team. So if you want to work somewhere that puts a value on your inquisitiveness, your passion, and your yearning to learn new things, and if you're looking for coworkers who think big and are willing to face new challenges while part of a team, then becoming a Googler just might be for you. 3 steps to become a part of the Google team. Step 1. Put in an application. Discover what matches your skills. Match the interests and skills you possess to positions you're enthusiastic about and the issues you desire to fix. Concentrate on your resume. A resume is your first foot in the door, so you have to stress what you have achieved. Here is the way to highlight your skills. Line up your abilities and your knowledge with the position's description. Be precise about positions you've had or those you managed. Did you have a good ending to those jobs? How could you tell if you were a success or not? Did you work in a leadership role? Be sure to talk about it. Did you have a team? How big was it? What was your position's scope? Did you graduate recently or maybe you haven't worked long? Be sure to put in your classes or school jobs that show you have the needed skills and know-how. Don't make it too long. If Google needs any additional info such as a portfolio, the recruiter will ask you for it as needed. The way applications are reviewed and the next steps. How applications are read. Be sure to study the position's required qualifications because they are meant to aid you in choosing the job best fitting a person's background and goals. So don't fluff over these because recruiters go over applications based on those needs. Real people read the applications. They are skilled in inferring. Resumes, as well as being knowledgeable about all of Google's positions, not only the job you desire. That way, recruiters can route potential candidates all over Google. So if your resume doesn't match the job you applied for, they will keep you in mind for future open jobs. Should a recruiter find a job matching your resume, you will get a call to talk to them regarding your abilities and experience. Be sure to have some questions ready for the recruiter, as it's your chance to learn additional information on the job, and it's Google's chance to learn more things about you. Step 2. The interview. Businesses interview in different ways. The following are a few pointers to aid you in preparing for the interview. Interviews via phone or Hangout. If you are interviewed via a phone or through a Google Hangout, the interview is done by a manager or a peer. It will last anywhere from a half hour to an hour if you are being interviewed for a software engineering job. You will write out your answers to coding questions via a Google document that you then share with the interviewer. It's a good idea to get a speakerphone or to use a hands-free headset. These let you type more freely. An interview via phone covers algorithms as well as data structures, so be ready to deliver 20 to 30 lines of code using your strongest coding language. Take all scripting given as an exercise in coding, and be sure all your delivered code is strong, clean, and rich. You'll get questions that are open-ended, so if needed, ask for clarification and determine the requirements. Then you will have to explain the answer in the form of an algorithm. Change it to a viable code. Clue: don't be worried that it is not perfect, as they understand you have limited time to finish it. Get it down and you can tweak it if needed. Likewise, ensure your corner cases and edge cases are considered production ready. Ensure the code is optimized. Then look for possible bugs and follow it up with test cases. Interviews for jobs other than engineering will likely have interviews lasting a half hour to about 45 minutes. Make sure to ready yourself for questions related to behavior, hypothetical issues, or those questions based on a possible case fitting your knowledge about the role you'd play if hired. Interviews at Google. Interview at Google normally puts the job seeker with 4 people who work at Google. Some are your possible coworkers and others have several functions. And the interview will last about a half hour to around 45 minutes from each person there. All applicants will be able to stress their strongest assets in 4 diverse areas. General cognitive skill. This is why Google uses questions that are open-ended, so as to know the way you handle and solve issues. Have no fear, as there isn't only one correct answer. What's vital is the way you approach the problem and the way you use information to come to your decision. Leadership. Be ready to talk about how you rally your teammates and what kind of communication skills and how you make a decision. You could use examples like how you helped the team be successful even if you weren't the official leader, or how you performed at an actual leadership role with a previous job or elsewhere. Job-related know-how. Google wants to know the way your personal strengths mix with your background and how the two of those things drive your impact on others. They are interested in not only where you stand now, but the way they could mold you and help you rise to additional roles, even roles no one has created thus far. Googleness. Talk about the way you work both with a team and alone, the way you assist people, the way you handle vagueness, and the way you grow and strive to get further and past into those things where your comfort zone doesn't play a part in what you do. Those applying for a software engineer type job will be asked about their ability to code, as well as what their areas of technical expertise is, to include programming languages, tools, as well as ask you about your overall knowledge on subjects, such as data structures and algorithms. You'll likely do some bantering during your interview. That's because it's like that in the real job. Google wants to get you thinking so you can learn how to approach things in different ways. Therefore, be ready to discuss why you picked the solutions to the problems in detail. Stretch past your limits and get the top answer. It's likely your way of solving things already. If you face an interview at Google in a technical area, it used to be done using a whiteboard. But now, Google lets their applicants answer it on a laptop at some of their sites. They use Chromebooks, and the applicant can choose the programming language they desire. You are always allowed to ask questions during the whole interview, or ask for a question to be clarified. Plus, you can ask the interviewer things too, like the culture at Google, the work you do, the teams, etc. All this will help you figure out if you really want the job or not. How to get ready for all kinds of job interviews. The following are tips to get you prepared for any of the interviews. Forecast future events. You likely know most of the types of questions they will ask, like why do you want to work here? What's the toughest issue you solved, etc. If you are still worried, then search the internet for the interview questions asked most frequently. Then write them on a list and study the top 20. Develop a strategy. Write the answers to your list of questions. Writing something down helps you remember better, and you want to give answers automatically. Develop an alternate strategy. Help yourself by writing down 3 answers for each of your listed questions. Why? Because you want more than one great reply if it seems the first person to interview you didn't like the first answer you gave, so maybe the next person will like the second one. Clarify. Google wants to know your thought process, so clarify it for the interviewer and tell them how you decide to do things. Take note, they are not just figuring out if your skills match the job technically. They want to know if you can solve issues well and how you do that. So plainly state and double-check anything you may assume about the interview and make sure it's rational. Be information-driven. You always should answer a question by telling the interviewer something you have gone through that shows you understand and can accomplish whatever they are asking you about. For instance, if they ask you how you lead, you should tell a story about something that made you a good leader and how you handled the situation. Elucidate. Lots of times, interviewers ask open-ended questions to give some understanding into the topics and data you give value to inside of a technological problem. They want to know how applicants get involved in an issue and the main way they solve the problem. Ensure you are talking through the entire thought process, and if you need to ask a question or get clarification, don't hesitate to ask for it. Improve your solutions. Ponder on how you can make improvements on the problem-solving ideas you present. It helps to think about this out loud, as you might need to tweak your first thoughts on your answers. If you have to, just begin with the strongest idea you have to solve an issue, and then make your tweaks to improve it. Be sure, though, to tell the person interviewing what you are doing and your reasons. Don't forget to practice. It is always best to practice everything, especially if you can do it out loud in front of a helpful friend. This helps to make your answers clearer. Software engineer technical job interviews. Practice coding procedures. Lots of websites have samples of coding questions. Try sites such as Quora, Overflow, or Stack Overflow. Another great tool to use is Cracking the Coding Interview, which is a good book. You likely will be able to use a whiteboard or a Chromebook to do the coding. You can ask which one in advance so you will be ready. Ensure you test the code you write and confirm it can be read and is bug-free. Don't worry about tiny syntactical errors, such as not knowing for sure what substring you should use at a precise time. Example, whether to use start, end, or to use start length. Choose one and tell the interviewer which you picked. Coding. Be sure you are an expert in at least one language used for programming. The best ones are C++, or Go, or Java, or C, or Python. You have to understand things like APIs, as well as orientated design and programming, along with ways to test the code. And you have to show edge cases and corner cases for the code. They stress theoretical understanding instead of memorizing things. Algorithms. You must face the issue by using top-down algorithms as well as bottom-up. You must understand an algorithm's complexity and the way it could be improved or changed. Google uses algorithms that solve their problems by doing sorting as well as binary search and regular searches, divide and conquer, along with dynamic programming and memorization, as well as greediness and recursion. They also use algorithms related to a precise data construction. Be sure you know things like Big O notations, like runtime, as well as being prepared to talk about complicated algorithms, i.e. Dijkstra and A. It's recommended to talk about or outline whatever algorithm used prior to coding. Sorting. Know the usual used sorting methods and which input data they work well with. Be knowledgeable on how efficient they are when it comes to space used or runtime. For example, in some cases, radix sort or perhaps insertion sort work lots more efficiently than any of the generics such as heap sort, merge sort, or quick sort. Data structures. Know as much about this topic as you can learn. The ones used the most include arrays, stacked, linked lists, queues, hash maps, hash sets, dictionary, hash tables, along with binary trees, graphs, and trees. Be sure to understand all the ins and outs of this topic, as well as the kind of algorithms normally related to each kind of data structure. Math. A few of the people who interviewed you could ask you questions related to rudimentary discrete mathematics. Google does this more than other places, since problems involving counting, probability problems, and additional discrete Math 101 circumstances are all around us. Practice on or learn more about the basics of the theory of elementary probability or combinatorics. Be sure to know all you can about problems related to N-choose-K problems. Graphs. Ponder if an issue can be used with a graph algorithm, such as search, distance, cycle detection, or connectivity. The three main ways to show graphs in memory are matrix, objects, and pointers, and an adjacency list. Be sure to know all these and their advantages and disadvantages. You also have to understand things like rudimentary graph traversal algorithms, as well as breadth-first and depth-first searches. You must know how those relate to computational complexity, as well as how to show them in red code and their trade-offs. Recursion. Lots of code problems comprise thinking recursively and possibly doing a code for a recursive solution. You can employ recursion for discovering more sophisticated answers to issues that you can solve iteratively. Step 3. The decision. Discovering the way hiring decisions are made. Grow along with Google. Google leadership reviews all successful applications before an offer is made. The procedure. Committee and executive review. After all the interviewing is finished, Autonomous hiring committees made up of Google employees from varied company levels go over a candidate's package, including feedback and scores from the interview, the resume, your references, as well as samples of your work. These hiring committees ensure Google holds to their company's hiring standards. Then, if the hiring committee gives a thumbs up, they add their feedback to your package, and off it goes to someone in senior leadership. And they provide some levity, and they too give their review on it. Finally, an offer is made. The Google hiring process could end up lasting a few weeks. However, they will try to update candidates, and you can always call your recruiter to see how it is going. As soon as the senior leadership puts their stamp of approval on a candidate, that package and its summary on the candidate heads to a final executive review process. After that is done, the offer comes to you. But don't think that it's the end of the process. You still have to show Google you were the right choice for the job. All Google workers have had to face this long process, and that helps them trust one another from their first day at work, so they are sure to welcome you. FAQs regarding Google hiring process. Google used to ask brain teasers in its interview process. Does that still happen? No. Their data proved those types of questions don't really show if someone will do well in the job. They use sample tests involving the work you would do, as well as interview questions that are more structured. Must I have a degree in computer science to work as a software engineer at Google? No, that is not needed. Does Google inform applicants when someone is chosen for the job? If 2 months have passed, likely someone else got the job. But you might hear from a recruiter in the future if they think you match up with an open position. Is it allowed to put in applications for several positions? Yes, but you should narrow it to the open positions matching your resume and what you are interested in. Resumes will all be reviewed, as well as new grad and intern transcripts, to see who best matches an open job. What's the limit on the total positions I can apply to be interviewed for? In a 30-day time frame, you can put in an application for 3 jobs. This way, the hiring teams have enough time to go over the applicants, and you too can be more focused on which ones match your resume the best. What if I am a military veteran? If you are transitioning out of the military, you can search the open jobs by putting in your MOS, or Military Occupational Specialty Code, MOS code in your search. What's the deadline for applications? Job descriptions list any required deadline. Many of Google's jobs come open periodically, so it's best to go ahead and submit a resume, and a recruiter will contact you if the position is open. I had an interview, I applied in the last 12 months, and I didn't get the job. Can I apply again? If it was an engineering job, you must wait a year, so you can get more experience. Do recruiters come to my college? Google hosts hundreds of outreach-type events at colleges worldwide, so people know about internships as well as opportunities for those who have graduated recently. The College Career Center likely will have a schedule of company staging events, so check with them. You can always apply on Google's website even if they don't come to your college. Are there any particular technical courses I should take to help me in the interview? You just need to have a comprehensive background that is interdisciplinary, as well as be strong in computer science. That's the key to getting software engineering positions at Google or anywhere else. Google also has a technical development guide that can provide you with resources in which you can use to deepen technological skills. Can you provide me a place to stay for the interview timeframe? Yes, Google can not only help you with accommodations. If you need any sort of interpreter, i.e. ASL, have a service dog, need accessible provisions for a wheelchair, etc., just ask. Your recruiter will get you in touch with a confidential way. Chapter 5. This chapter includes ways to network online for business, ways to network in person for business. Ways to network online for business. You likely have people you know online who are also known to you personally. These are the ones to keep close at hand. Think of them as allies and who might be able to help you in your networking. But don't think as soon as you meet a new person that you have to immediately be their Facebook friend, or ask them to follow your website. But there are still hints for how to be successful at networking online for business. Be closer to someone prior to friending them. It's not a bad thing to do a Google search about a person. You can look for those you may have met during networking by seeing if they are on LinkedIn. You might decide to post via message there and tell them you enjoyed meeting them. You could also add that you want to learn more on whatever it is their business is. You just don't want to seem weird or a stalker, but to be truly interested in them. Plus, it's not a good idea to begin by asking them to recommend you for a job, as it's way too early for that. If you do so, they will likely ignore you. Be sociable and generous prior to asking for a favor. Maybe someone put a great link somewhere on social media and you made a comment. Perhaps you are listed in the network group's latest message, and then the one you are trying to reach added an interesting post. You can be polite and generous by adding something like, "Hey, I loved your idea. Great job." This can go far. Being appreciative of what others say is not just polite. If someone is trying to raise money by crowdfunding, maybe you could give them a donation if you can afford it. But don't just donate $1 or $2 if you see most of the other donations are much larger. That makes you look bad because it could be taken wrong. So watch out and pay attention to what you want to accomplish. Do not talk too much. You don't want to talk too much while online because things like that are better done in person. Make your point quickly and keep it positive. However, don't act like you are pals with someone if you aren't. That can be seen wrong, especially by important people. You want to make a good impression and be remembered, not for them to forget about you forever. Speak clearly and frankly. Be sure not to mix your messages or be too open-ended with your posts. Messages should always be done clearly and frankly. Telling someone they have a great idea and that you want to see them on Monday for coffee to discuss that idea is much clearer than just asking them if they ever want to talk about it to contact you. If you are trying to get someone interested in talking to you, then you must speak clearly about your needs or desires. Don't make things open to errors due to the wrong interpretation. No one wants to deal with that. How to network in person for business. Who do you know both in your work life and in your personal life? These are people like friends, family, fellow workers, business people you meet, pros at a training seminar, or maybe even your competitors. All these persons are part of your circle of influence and have had some type of influence in your life and work. Family and friends are the ones in the center of that circle and are the ones that influence you the most. Then comes the ones you work with who influence you. You know their names and some of what their life involves. You probably greet them at a meeting, shake their hand, or even go to lunch with them. Lastly are the rest of the world. They are powerful business people, but they don't influence your work and you don't know them very well. They don't have either a positive or a negative influence on you. If you network in person, take note of the above info and judge where the people are in your circle of influence. That's basic for understanding how they can affect your work life and the way each of you could possibly assist each other someday. Make a note of new people you meet, because you will meet many people over the next weeks, months, and years. But do you really have to remember them? Some you will never meet again, so they don't influence your circle of influence. Meeting them is nice, but they don't affect your life, so you don't have to remain in contact. You might add them to a newsletter list if desired, but even that is not necessary. You merely met them and likely will never see them again. But if you know you will see people again, it's best to keep in contact, as they are those who influence part of your outer circle of influence. You should mostly focus on people in the inner circle of influence, as they are who you will mostly interact with, and they can affect your life. They are probably on a list of people who you'd send a holiday card, or gift them with free tickets to a sports event from time to time. How to get your circle of influence to help. So now you know who is in your circle of influence and where they fall. Now you must determine what they can do for you via networking. However, it is not acceptable to just message them out of nowhere asking for something, especially if you haven't talked in a few years. That's why it's vital to stay in touch with people who do affect your circle of influence. Be sure to come to networking meetings as one way to do this. However you like to stay in touch, it's vital to keep yourself in the minds of those you may want to help you someday. You need to keep in touch other than just doing it online. A true working relationship has to include face-to-face meetings too. You can always use digital media to talk, but try things in person too, like going to lunch together, etc. Chapter 6. This chapter includes how to get started in a tech job, job roles and titles you've probably done for free, business setting, diversity applicants, how to get started in a tech job. I am starting to be paid for things I have done for free. Don't have doubts on your abilities. You qualify already to get that tech job you desire. That's because you've gotten lots of skills and experience through things like boot camp, doing freelance work, and being involved with startups. It's the right time to confidently apply for that tech job you want. Job roles and titles you've probably done for free. Entry-level IT help desk. Do you want to get an IT job that is at the basic entry level so you can get the experience you need? Did you ever have some sort of technical problem with any sort of technical device? If so, you likely got help from someone at an IT help desk. If you have ever troubleshooted a problem with a technical device, you are a fantastic candidate for getting a job to get you started at an IT help desk. Developer designer. Do you lack work experience as a developer or designer? Why not start a job yourself? This will help you add things to a work portfolio. You can design logos, create graphics, or invent your own app, and show those things to businesses where you are trying to get a job. Once you are more confident of your skills, you can do some freelancing or even create a startup of your own. Be ready to always show off your work to any potential hiring manager. QA software tester. Did you ever try to buy something online, but the site wouldn't accept payment? That would be a great example of you acting as the tester for some online app or website feature. You try it, and then if something goes wrong, you reported it to the right department that could help get the issue fixed. These issues are known as defects or bugs. Product owner. This niche is something you can get more experience in by being a go-to person for a business owner and their customers. The business owner gives you a list of things the customer wants in their app or website. Then you act as the product owner and help them out. You can get this kind of work as a freelancer by signing up with a freelance site. And then you can outsource the job so you get real-world experience. Business environment. Can I have a tattoo? What about body piercings? Can I have a crazy hair color? All the tech businesses are welcoming and accept these cultural things as long as they are not offensive. They just want to know if you fit into their business and can learn to play on their team. Diversity applicants. What steps are tech businesses making to get more diversity applicants? Businesses are taking big steps to be deliberately involved in diversity and all-inclusiveness. Numerous businesses have developed new jobs to precisely work to improve diversity in the workplace. For instance, Google now has a chief in charge of inclusion and diversity. Are we there yet? No, improvements still need to be made in this area, but businesses are making continuous adjustments to address and correct this problem that's been around for years. Do companies spy on people? Yes. The fact of this is that it is true. Businesses will Google you, as well as take a look at your social media interactions. Conclusion. So now you have heard my book, you should be confident and ready to get out there and put in an application for the tech job you desire. What is keeping you from applying for the job in the tech field that you want? Should you ever experience that you are still fearful of getting yourself out there, read this quote to yourself by the late Zig Ziglar, a well-known motivational speaker who said, "You don't have to be great to get started, but you have to get started to be great."